What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Got
Rob.
No, I was going to say, who's he going to point out as the extra special guest? Uh-oh, this could get bad.
Mayday.
we got Matt Mayday back for our gaming podcast. Familiar face to some people that are watching, familiar voice to people who are listening. Tony is back.
Yes.
Rob.
And of course, I'm always here. At Robert and Cheek and all your social networks. Make sure you check out robertandcheek.com. Oh the Anthem podcast, new episodes every Tuesday. OhTheAnthem.com. New episodes of this podcast every Thursday with bonus episodes whenever the hell we feel like making them. Make sure you follow at Dirty Shore UG on Twitter and Facebook for updates. And DirtyShoreUnderGround.com for the new episodes. As always, we're live streaming this episode. If you're following on Facebook and Twitter, you got the link. Come in, join the conversation. We can see your comments live, so you can help participate and be part of the whole podcast. So today we got an interesting topic. And I think I got the guy sitting to my right, if you're watching the video. I can't wait to hear some of the stories. But just to dive back right in, where are we starting? To say we're talking about gaming is like to say that you like to eat food, because there is such a wide variety of stuff out there. So, I'm not a gamer. I've played before, but I've recognized my addiction, and I'm on step 4, making my apologies to everybody who I hurt during my gaming time, working my way through the steps. But what are we excited about playing right now?
Fallout 4.
Okay, now, Fallout that's the one where everybody's playing the little, not the console game, but the old, the cell phone game, right? Building the shelters.
That's Fallout Shelter.
Right, but it's the preview for the game.
That's something they put out to keep people interested, I guess.
Right. So what? I've never played Fallout, so somebody catch me up on what that is.
Post-apocalyptic world. You lived your entire life in a shelter. For some reason or another, you got to go out into the wasteland, and regular money doesn't exist. It's now bottle caps that you're trading for shit here and there.
Is that the one where it's the little boy on the cover?
Yep.
Okay. And so, the only one I remember even seeing on a shelf anywhere was, I think, New Vegas, where it had the guy in the gear and the strip was in the background like covered with sand. Is that right? Is that the same game? Mm-hmm. So that's what you're excited to play right now.
Yeah, that one. I want to play Rock Band, but money's not right now, so we can't do that one.
Because you have to buy the whole set to even play that. You have to buy everything.
Well, it's better to wait till Christmas, because then you can buy the game and 2 guitars, because I don't think me or her will ever play the drums.
Well,
I used to get
It's
Tony.
fun to play drums, though.
It is, but I don't want to pay $300 for the whole set either. When Tony used to come over and do radio shows with me,
Yeah.
we would do that shit live on the air, and he would sing them. He would do the singing and just completely nailed it.
now I remember from college playing Rock Band. My only experience playing Rock Band was being drunk, so I can't even tell you very much about it. But all I know is I had a roommate who was like a fantastic guitar player. Finger picking, you do the whole thing. And he broke somebody's guitar because it was so much different than actually playing the real guitar, and we were drunk, and he got mad and just like smashed it Nirvana style on the floor. And then the next day, like, found pieces of the guitar, like, in his clothes, in his shoes. And it was like, what happened last night? I got funny colored pieces all over me. I don't remember where it came from. But yeah, so, I didn't realize Rock Band was still a thing. Because I remember from 10 years ago.
Yeah, it went away for a while because the popularity went down. And of course, everything recycles and comes back eventually. And they figured the time was right. New generation of consoles. Legacy DLC, if you bought any songs for the old systems, you can play them with this game on the new system.
Now, and so, you used to sing on there.
Yeah.
Now, the key is not really to be a good singer, right? It's to know how to match the pitch as it goes along.
Yeah. Well, if you can match the pitch, you can become a good singer.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter with octaves. You know what I mean? You don't have to go high in the sky as long as you're close.
I remember somebody singing, and it sounded horrible, but they got a perfect score.
Wow.
And they were trying to explain how it is, and it's like, if you can't reach that note, you come down an octave,
Right.
and it doesn't sound good here, but the game says you hit the note you were supposed to hit.
Right.
Okay.
And that's why you don't catch me doing too many covers.
That's
Because-
just like the Small A Sing app on your phone.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
You know, you don't want to.
Karaoke on your phone.
Yeah, people get into how a song sounds the way that they originally heard it.
Right.
So, you know, deviating takes a whole lot of skill, and if you can't come close in the parts that matter, it's no need of doing it.
Right. Okay.
You know, it's no need of, because you'll have them, and then they'll be like, oh, I really thought he was going to do that. It's going to be even if it blows over and
Right.
you know it sounds decent enough that nobody boos, they're still like, you know, you give them that disappointment.
You got that guy in the wings who's going to come over and kick you in the balls right before you need to hit that super high note
Right.
that everybody's waiting for it, and no, you drop an octave down and just take the whole song there.
Right, that's how auto-tune became so popular. A lot of people just couldn't sing.
So
Yeah.
click, 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 click,
That's
fix it and push it.
Let's bring back Mr. Roboto.
Well, so, and I think the thing that everybody, I think, here has played, interesting that Kenny brings up Rock Band of all the options, but the first person shooters is what I played all growing up, and I suggest to the crowd that it's only the first person shooters that bring out the rage machine in Matt. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so you're not sitting there playing Rock Band, getting crazy in Nirvana?
No.
Okay. So what is the game of choice that brings out the monster?
Call of Duty.
No, all right. So for
And Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
that's not a first-person
He
shooter,
raged
though.
out on me on Mortal Kombat.
well, and I remember, I mean, back in my Sega Genesis days, I had a little bit of the rage before I found my center and centered myself. But I remember it's because you look at the person and you're like, I'm actually playing combos that I know are combos, and you're just pressing buttons. And for some reason, yes.
I'm a button masher. I admit it.
And for some
Yeah.
reason,
And Matt still got mad because I was whooping his ass and he quit out on me.
and I mean that's the thing that's so frustrating about like games like Mortal Kombat. It's like there are people who have skill sets and they know what they're doing, but if you mash the right buttons at the right time, you block it and then do some kind of crazy move, and you're like, "Ooh, that's nice." You didn't even try to do that. That was a total accident.
It's the button mashers and the one movers.
Oh yeah.
The one move that's so difficult to stop, and you get pissed because they won't do anything different. But then they say, "Well, stop it then."
Me,
Yeah,
and
they do
I'll
something
corner
different.
you. I'll corner camp you too. I'll back you up into a corner and I'll keep beating the shit out of you with that one move.
My mind goes to Street Fighter. The character's name wasn't Yokozuna, but I always called him Yokozuna. It was the sumo guy.
Oh yeah, with
And
the
you
100
just-
hand slap.
Yeah, you just do the hand slap, and then you can't jump over it, you can't do anything, and as long as you just keep pressing it over and over again, you get the person who rages out with you.
Blanca and his
All this,
electricity.
the electricity, yeah. 'cause
And
you can't
Chun-Li
jump
and that
over.
leg kick.
Those were the three. That was the ones, yeah. And then shoot, there was the Indian guy that you could sit in the opposite
Rubber feet,
corner
yeah,
and
Dalsim.
the hands out,
Yeah.
the hands out. I hated that shit. Anyway, because wherever you hit the arm, even if you jumped over the arms, if you came down on the arms, it still took damage.
Yep.
But all right, anyway, so back to that. So Call of Duty, for anyone who basically was alive in the early 2000s, was like the first-person shooter, and I'm a bigger fan of. Before we started recording, we were talking about the older versions, the World War II versions,
Mhm.
just because I think that takes a lot more skill. When you have 8 rounds in a Garand, you got to know what you're doing, or you're going to get caught somewhere without any rounds and just be dead.
Right.
Now though, you have like wingsuits and like you can climb up walls and you're calling in airstrikes. Like things are less fun and just more difficult to deal with, I think. And I imagine I can picture Matt playing. I've never seen him play, but I can picture it that somebody in the room does like the iron sight sniper shot from across the map. Matt shouts out, "That guy's cheating! He's definitely cheating!" Am I getting warm there at all?
I think even Hank, a guy that played in our clan, has gotten a couple times on some quick scopes like that in private
Yeah.
matches.
So okay, using a little lingo people might not know. So iron sight is when you don't have a scope on, you're not supposed to be able to shoot very far. But there are people who I think have just trained their muscle memory that if you are a certain place on the screen, they know they will shoot you from there, and it doesn't matter. So you're walking around with it like at the hip, and you see him just hit the scope to bring out the gun, and it's just like up and shot, up and shot, up and shot.
This is why Call of Duty fans hate Battlefield, because it has realistic bullet drop.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, see, maybe I should play Battlefield then.
Yeah.
So it's not just point and shoot.
Except when I get into a tank or a rocket launcher.
Or you piss them off and you're on his team.
Right. All right. So that's a story I've heard before, and I wanted to ask you about
Can't do that
that.
no more anymore, though. The new Battlefield you can't do anymore.
What is the story about you fragging everybody in your clan, which I've heard.
We didn't even have a clan back then. It was just
Team.
me and him and the rest of our team.
What was that, Modern Warfare? What was that, Modern Combat 2?
Yeah.
Bridge
Also-
Too Far
Battlefield
thing?
on Bridge Too Far.
Yeah.
All right. So is that Battlefield?
It was
Yeah,
Battlefield.
Bridge too far. Okay. So what is the story of you fragging the entire team?
I don't know why I got pissed off.
I think he got blown up by somebody on the other team who was
I don't
in their
know.
base or something.
No. So
Oh,
here's
but
what I
yeah,
heard.
it was camping. They were camping in our.
Somebody was
phone
camping
game.
with a rocket launcher, I think is what you told me before, and that you went after them and like got killed a couple of times trying to get them out of the camping position they were in. And then nobody was backing you up, and you lost it on your own team. Is that about right?
Yeah. So,
And what happened after that?
so the next match that started, since we're all in a tight group, I just said, "Hey Kenny, watch this." Put on a rocket launcher and shot straight at the ground and killed 15 people on our team.
No, he jumped in the tank.
Oh,
and
it's a
blew us
tank.
all
Yeah,
up.
tank.
The reason why he was trying to defend the home base itself is because the rest of us were smart enough to spawn in different places where somebody wasn't camping.
Okay. So, I would say, having not played any online games for about 5 years, like I said, in recovery, every day is a new day for me. I remember being frustrated about that, but I was also a sniper guy. I was good with the sniper rifle, so I was a camper. I tried not to camp at spawn points. I just camped at bottlenecks, where my favorite was always when people would like be creeping around corners to like look around, but I have the high ground over top of them. So there's a couple of terms in there I guess we should talk about. Spawning. Anybody, what is spawning?
It's just where you pop up at after you die.
Okay, so there are certain positions around the map where you reappear when you die.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest faux pas, or I guess the biggest assholes in online gaming are guys who will sit in a protected position where people just reappear out of nowhere, the
Right.
spawn point. Now, why does that anger everybody? I can see Matt's getting a little tense just thinking about spawning.
Yeah.
He's like, ah.
He's
So
like,
why does
yeah.
that upset you so much?
Well, it's because every time you spawn, you get shot right in the head.
And as I remember, there's always like a little lag where you appear in the game world and you
Right,
still
yeah.
don't have control of your person yet,
Mhm.
and they get you right from there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so camping. What is camping? I guess that's kind of a related comment, but
In Call of Duty 4, I was a huge camper.
What Kenny did.
And only in Call of Duty 4, the last 2 games, I was a running gunner. But in Call of Duty 4, if I camped somewhere, chances are you weren't getting in there.
all right. So what is camping?
Or with,
Call of
Hank.
Duty 4, I would have at the time they would let you have 2 claymores.
Yeah.
So if there was more than 2 entrances, the claymore had one at one entrance, one at another entrance, and I would watch the third entrance with my gun.
Okay.
Now the claymores for me weren't there to kill them. It was more to alert me. If it goes off, I know they're coming.
Right.
And I always played Search and Destroy, which is once you get killed, you're dead, no respawn.
Now that may have been the last game I actually played, because I do remember also setting up claymores as early warning, or getting up on a roof and then putting a claymore at the base or at the ladder.
Yeah.
So when they hopped onto the top of the roof, the claymore would go off, and there was no way to beat it basically.
If you went slow enough, you could set it off and drop down. And use
Oh,
that
yeah.
for blast radius.
But it still lets me know somebody's coming up the ladder. So, so what's happened since then? I mean, because we were talking about the flamethrowers in it World of War?
World of War.
World of
War.
War.
Yeah, and the dogs. The
Yeah.
dog purple.
Now, and the multiplayer was where you had the dogs. And again, there's something to be said about, I think in Modern Warfare, you can call in the AC-130 gunship, and you actually take the point of view of the plane, and you can switch between the guns
Mm-hmm.
and kill people. But there's something that's just like letting the dogs loose on somebody.
On somebody, yes, sir. Your heart rate jumps.
But yeah, I gotta say that the
Here's
reason I
the-
like it so much is there's nothing you can do about an airstrike. But if you were skilled with the knife,
Right.
you could take down the dogs because they'd only come at you one by one.
Yeah, and I don't want Peter to come and get me for this, but I mean, the dogs are simply a distraction to get you, you know what I mean, to get you moving in a place you don't necessarily want to be. If they do some damage, fine, but you know.
And it's for people like Kenny who are the campers. It's to get you out of the camping position. Well, yeah.
I don't camp no more.
So, because as I remember, your claymores and stuff weren't set off by the dogs because they were non-player characters. So you're in a room and the dogs come in the room and you just have to jump out the window to get away from them or something and get you out of your position.
I wouldn't know because we didn't have dogs in Call of Duty 4.
Oh, okay, and now you're a running gunner.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what's the? Well, Tony, what's your favorite game? I guess.
Well, on the term of first-person shooters.
Right.
My favorite first-person shooter of all time is you're gonna laugh, man, but it's GoldenEye for N64.
Oh my God!
Yes.
What?
All right.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I've many late nights.
It's GoldenEye for N64. You had 4 controllers right there.
Yeah.
You didn't have online yet, but you could see the reaction on people's faces when they're looking at somebody else, and you just got them in your sights the whole time, and you wait for them to get right to where they want to go, and then that red just splatters across the screen. You know, the golden gun in the basement.
Oh, the golden gun was the worst though.
Yeah, oh yeah,
I
one
hated
shot,
it.
one kill, and it didn't matter where they hit you at. And then you got that grenade launcher that you can ping around corners for people resting. And but the step up for that for me was SOCOM. Remember SOCOM?
Okay. Yeah.
I used to play SOCOM all the time.
Because you could send your people out that actually, it gave you a command,
Yeah.
right? But you could still go one-on-one if you wanted to. So that gave you more of a team situation where everybody knew their role.
Now I want to touch on 2 things. One, now you said you had SOCOM, right?
Right.
How much did you pay for SOCOM?
Which time?
Yes. A story that I've heard so much is Matt. How many occasions was it? Just one that you did it?
Well, it was on. It wasn't on 1 or 2. It was I think it was more. No, I think it was on Confrontation. I really got pissed off at it. That series of it.
No, but I remember you breaking your SOCOM 2 disc a few times. Or a disc at least once, and you broke a controller once.
Yeah,
That's what it
SOCOM 2
was.
I did, but I think it was the later SOCOMs that I really started getting agitated with them. But they were frisbees.
Meaning you took it out of the machine and threw it across the room?
Sometimes I can take it out of the PS2. Just throw the PS2 across the room too.
Okay. And I heard about a controller breaking episode. Was that also SOCOM?
Well, there was many episodes of that. Break them in half, chuck them across
You know how
the
happy he
room.
was when Walmart came to Denton so that when he breaks a controller, he don't have to drive
I'm
the
always going to get a controller.
I mean, so how many controllers have you actually had, let's say, in your life, do you think?
I think I've only broken one on the PS4.
Okay.
PS3, probably about 10 to 15.
How
Now,
many did you whip around on PS2?
Rip the cords out.
Well, to be fair, though,
Whip it.
you had PS2 for like 6 or 7 years. Because
Yeah.
that was the highest caliber
How
game
that
system for a while.
console lasted so
I
long.
still have a, I still have a PS2.
I can imagine him trying to throw a PS2 controller.
And he'll whip him back.
And it comes back and hits him because he doesn't let go of the cord for some reason or another, or his foot's still on the other end of it.
We also have a Nintendo 64 down there. Is it the 60? No, it's the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, Super Nintendo.
See, now, and I can say that I was guilty of a little rage play, but I've never broken a controller.
Oh, I have. Plenty of times.
Except for, that's not true, except for just regular
Wear and tear.
wear and tear on the thumb pads because of like sniping so much that I'm always holding it down and scooting it around, and eventually it just doesn't press down anymore. But like the idea, there's a commercial out right now. It's a NFL commercial where the guy's holding the baby and the Texans win, and he like hands the baby to his wife and then goes outside.
Yeah.
I have on the controller and then like punch and kick the couch and kick everything. But I look at that and I'm like, that's a $20 controller. I'm not gonna break that controller.
Right.
Yeah, it's only $20. I mean,
But then it's also,
Instead, you'd
times.
rather punch and kick the $300 couch?
first of all, I have never owned a $300 couch before. It might be worth that, but I never paid that. And it's a pillow. It's just like punching a pillow. and it's not gonna break. Although that's not true because I have broken a pillow on the couch before. But
yeah, that's just a pain in the ass. Shoot, I came from, if I broke my PS controller, I'm taking that bitch apart and trying to
Put it
find
back.
another spring to put in that motherfucker. I need to know how this works.
Well, it wouldn't really be.
Recycle everything.
It was more or less the shoulder buttons popping out, the thing cracking in half, pulling the joysticks off,
He's bit the shit out of it.
banging on the counter so it,
so it works, right? Banging because it's not working, and you gotta make it work.
and then something starts rattling, and I get pissed off even more. Something broke on the inside.
See, I don't get rage until. See, I'm more of an RPG player game. I like story modes, like stuff, hack and slash. But for instance, God of War, that whole series, I loved it. It pissed me off on a regular basis. The one leap that's almost impossible. And I'd sit there for 10 minutes. God damn it! Fuck. And my wife's like, honey, maybe you should put it down for a while and just come back to it. No, man, I've been here for this long.
I was gonna say, that is the worst advice people give you because you're like, I've already invested 40 minutes on this one position.
Right.
If I put it down, I'm just wasting more time. I gotta get back in it.
Right, gotta get back in it while it's fresh, while I'm feeling it.
And I think that is something that goes back to original Mario on Nintendo. The first time you got one of those little skinny poles that you have to bounce off of to get through the gaps. I can remember, doing my 10-year-old cursing, or just like, oh shoot! And then
I still curse it out and I'm 24 years old.
Man.
But my mom is being like, is everything okay? Maybe you should take a break. No, Mom, I don't need to take a break. I need to land on that little skinny piece right there.
Oh, I'll take you, we can take that a step further, man. Donkey Kong.
Oh, God.
Man, I would get there now, man. ColecoVision was the absolute shit because it looked just like the arcades of those times. You know what I mean? You had a Coleco, everything.
Now wait, you're gonna have to explain for the younger members what a ColecoVision is.
Coleco, I guess you could say, was the inception of what became Nintendo.
Okay. And as I remember, was it a brown box?
Brown box, it had the wood grain front. It was kind of, it kind of mirrored Atari. If we're gonna go back
to the metal disc.
Right, and see what made the metal disc and keypad cool is that once they had a game out, a racing game called Turbo, and every racing game you got from that point on, you could use with this Turbo, and it came with an accelerator.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, the wheel. And your actual controller would fit in the dash of the accelerator, and you could use that to shift. And it was just ingenious for its time. But
and that was
Kong, man.
I remember being at the ColecoVision, the Atari, just thinking about that now. How excited I was with the one joystick with the one button, and being like, oh my god, this is crazy. What is this thing I'm doing? And now, looking at how many buttons is on this controller?
Right.
8, 10, 14.
And you have to, it's weird the way 18. That we've shipped holding it. Because I went from, the Atari had the black joystick, if I remember right.
Yep.
And there was a red button on the side.
Yep.
And then the later versions had the red button on top. So you went from holding it with one hand, essentially, to... then the Nintendo was 2 hands, and I remember how complicated that was. And then Super Nintendo, you went from the 1 row of buttons to the 2 row buttons, and it was so frustrating when you had to start getting used to you hit X, not A, and I'm so used to just 1, 2 back and forth. Now I got to go up a row, and now looking at this thing here, where proper gamers hold it with fingers on the buttons down in the front and thumbs up. I can't even. But my favorite was the N64 controller because depending on the game, it changed actually how you held it. Sometimes you used the D-pad, sometimes you didn't use the D-pad. But I wanted to go back to the GoldenEye for a second. Did you ever set the cardboard up in front of the TV so that people couldn't look at other people's screens?
Yeah.
Okay. And see, I don't know, you younger guys, did you ever play GoldenEye on N64?
I played Perfect Dark.
Okay. So, well, and I think I had the same 4 split on the multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
So, I just remember, 10, 11 years old, maybe a little older. It'd be embarrassing if it was older, but I think it's probably a little older. And people would start saying, stop looking at my screen.
Screen watching.
Stop looking at my screen.
Somebody
You turn towards the wall, and you know where you are, and then you watch their screen and watch for them to come around that corner, and you just spin around and hit them. And that's when we set up. You get a cardboard box, and you knock out the bottom.
Right.
And then you take the two parts that you knocked out, and you put them as a cross, and then sit it in front of the television, so that I would have to squat down. God, you hear this knees crack? Oh my God, I'm getting old.
You need DDP.
Oh man. So I'd squat down in front of that corner, and then somebody else would have to stand up on a stool behind you so that they could see their screen, just to make sure nobody was cheating.
See, we call that screen jockey. You're jocking my screen, man. When you hit that impossible shot and that screen turn, man, everybody automatically calls screen jockey. Hey, you jocked my screen, man. You jocked my screen. Ain't nobody watching your screen.
And I remember doing that, and then take that to 10 years later in college, where we had two 50-inch flat screens back to back, so that 4 players on one team, 4 players on the other team, and then we would be like, hey, no, you go back over there. I see you giving signals over the TV to people, and the whole room would divide in half, and it's just, who's playing who.
Now that was also another good college thing game was Twisted Metal.
Oh my God! Oh, okay. Well, see, that was the high school for some of us, but
hey.
But was that
I was
the
just
original?
going to parties.
The original PlayStation, right? Or was that PlayStation 2?
They had it at one end, had them in one end too.
That was like the original. I don't want to really say Grand Theft Auto, but the driving style of Grand Theft Auto, where you're just punching into stuff, trying to blow people up. I mean, it was a destruction derby, basically, right? If I'm remembering the right one, is that it?
Yeah.
You just try to blow each other up.
Yeah.
And how many surges? I remember sitting in the floor at a sleepover, and everybody's sitting there. We have like 3 cases of empty surges on the floor in front of the TV. Now you know Surge. Don't act like you never had any Surge before.
Yes.
Which, by the way, you can
They're trying to bring it back. Right?
You can get it now.
Bring it back?
Yeah, you can order it on Amazon. I bought some. It's disgusting. It doesn't hold up. Teenage Rob thought it was the best thing ever. But I think that's just because I'd never had that much.
That was the gamer's juice back then.
It was.
That before that was Jolt.
Okay, I did have some Jolt too.
Jolt Cola.
But now it tastes like Mountain Dew, and I hate the taste of Mountain Dew. But I was like, I remember this being so great. It tastes so... I don't know if they changed the recipe or if it was just like a teenage me like the sugar. It was just all sugar and all caffeine.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. In my console now, I'm on the PS4 platform. I only have 2 games. 2 games is all I play. I don't have time to play anything else.
Okay.
If I deviate from 2 games, I'm gonna get lost somewhere. So I have Arkham Knight.
Okay.
And I have Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse. The best game in the world. I love it. It's the shit.
Now, see, now I have a different policy. I have a Xbox 360, and I have 0 power cords for it. So,
oh wow,
that keeps me from playing anything.
After hearing his story the other night, I wanted to go buy him a power cord.
No, don't need it, don't want it. I have it. It's fine. It's sitting there. The only reason I still have it is because there may be some questionable material on the hard drive, and I don't want to just give it to somebody or toss it. So I gotta make sure I clear off the hard drive first.
Like you open it up and it's like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
It might be. I can't say for sure that it will or it won't.
He had a bit of an addiction to Assassin's Creed for a while, from what I hear.
I did. So when Assassin's Creed 3, which was the Revolutionary War.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever play Assassin's Creed?
Yes, the first one, I hated it.
Me too.
It was frustrating. You couldn't keep on task for nothing. You didn't know who. There were just no indications of anything.
Right.
And by the time you found what you were looking for, you forgot what you were doing.
Right. And 2 actually felt a lot better in 2 as well.
Right.
And then so I was like, well, the second one was better than the first one. Hopefully the third one will be even better. And it was worlds above what the previous ones had been. At least that's what I thought.
Right.
Did you play the Assassin's Creed?
I played the first one, got bored of repetitive.
Well, here's what I will tell you.
Doing a mission.
I haven't played Black Flag. I haven't played anything after 3 because of how many hours I dumped into 3.
Wow. Like you can't have time for that kind of commitment.
So I told myself, I'm like, I got shit I gotta do. So here's what we'll do. I will go get it from Redbox. That way I'm not purchasing it. It's only there when I want to have it. and that'll keep me from playing too much.
How'd that work for you?
It led to me playing for like 48 of 90 hours in a weekend, like just completely sitting in front of the TV and playing it for hours. But I thought the gameplay was so good, and there were so many side missions, and it wasn't like GTA. Like all of the side missions made sense towards the end goal of the game.
Right.
Like GTA sends you out on like crazy stuff that doesn't actually build the plot. Everything you were doing in Assassin's Creed builds a plot.
The whole point of GTA was to pick up the hooker and beat the hell out of it.
Right.
And that's why I never got into GTA, because
He
I
was
was
gonna
like,
fuck the hooker and then kill her to get his money back.
Yeah.
Get that
Hooker a couple
125
times.
life.
Yeah.
You're sitting on like $1 million and you kill a hooker for $125. Yeah.
So some of the guys that I was living with were always do that. And like the first thing they do, they get in and I'm like, look at the bankroll you have. What are you doing? Why do you care about the little bit of money that you've given anybody, really? Because some of the side missions, too, like you would get stuff, you give it to the character, then they turn and walk away, mission complete, run them over, get the thing that you just gave them. Like, you don't need it. You don't need it. But the GTA, the only game I really played on GTA was how high can you get your star level and still get away?
Yeah, that was always my favorite.
It was like, all right, so you got it up to 4 stars, you kept it at 4 stars for 9 minutes, and you still got away. So now I got to get it to 4 stars for 10 minutes, or 5 stars and then get away.
We used to do that with Driver too.
Well, see,
Oh,
I
you
never
remember
played
Driver and Driver 2?
Mm-hmm.
What was that? Just I always thought that was a racing game.
It's basically the same thing. You just couldn't get out of the car.
In the first one you couldn't get out.
Oh, okay. So you are just a driver.
Yeah.
I got you.
Now, see, I loved. It's GTA, I guess, based, but Sleeping Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
That game, it's like a continuation from True Crime LA.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's like he caused so much trouble in the United States, they shipped him back. You know what I mean? It's something like, you're revoked. Get your ass back there. And then he gets involved with, you know, triads and different gangs and stuff like that. But a lot of it's in Cantonese as well. I mean, it has the, some of the characters speaking English, but then you have, people cursing you out in Cantonese. And I played it so much, I would go to sleep and speak Cantonese in my sleep. And my wife would be like, what the fuck were you dreaming about last night? Because you were talking to Japanese, Chinese, something. I'm like, oh, it's this damn game.
Well, and after I got done Assassin's Creed 3, while I was doing it, the reason I didn't go to anything after that and I got rid of the cores and didn't do it is because I would wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning having figured out what I was supposed to do in a dream.
And then go back and do it.
Now I know what I need to do. I'm just going to go play for 5 minutes. I'm going to do that, and then like my alarm goes off, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to go to work now.
Right.
After I stayed up from 2 o'clock in the morning. But
yes.
A lot of those missions, it was like you have to take certain paths around the city, and I would dream about running over rooftops. And like, okay, so that gap is too big. Go to the left. If I go around to that building and from there to there to there, I could get the same way. I was dreaming about the damn game, so that's why I had to cut it off. I just couldn't do it anymore.
See, that's what's dangerous for me about playing Dragon Ball.
Same thing.
I have kicked my wife more times because of my dreams. I was dreaming that we were fighting somewhere, and we were sneaking around because we were both deadbeat tired, trying to get strength back. And I'm following my son, as a matter of fact. He's like, I know a shortcut. So we're following him, and he climbs this fence, and I go to climb the fence, and there's this dog there. Now, he walks straight. He said, don't worry about it. Just don't even have no mind. He won't do nothing. So he walks straight by the dog, because I have to watch him do this first. And then I start, and then the dog is growling. I'm like, oh, shit. Then the dog stands up on his hind legs. And I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, I don't believe that he's doing this. And it looked like he was going to snap. Well, I didn't wait for him to strike first. I just kept bop, 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 all in his doggy nuts. Again, Peter, don't come after me. I love dogs. They're wonderful. But this dog had an ass whooping coming, and I was going to give it to him. So I'm kicking his nuts, and I'm kicking him and kicking him and kicking him and kicking him and kicking him. And I walked away feeling pretty proud of myself. I wake up the next morning and you know what I mean, she's standing over top of me with a bucket of ice water. Like, if you kick me one more time, you're going to wear this bucket of ice water. And I'm just like, What did I do? I was sleeping. I don't know who you were fighting last night, but you kicked me like 10 times in a row. With them slave feet you got. Yes, I do. The calluses on my feet will remove skin.
Oh God.
So I mean, you know, yeah, games will take you there. It was all fun at first, and then I woke up and realized I had assaulted my wife for 15 years.
Yeah. So now we need to cover our bases. Domestic violence is not okay. You need to save it. Pedo, we're not talking about beating dogs. It's all in a dream. How many more groups? So Matt, have you ever had the game invade a dream?
No.
Yeah, dreams are there for peace, and you get too much anger. So, yeah. See, I gotta say though, like, so for me, it's escape. It's, you know, the reason I played all those hours was just like it was accomplishing goals, and it was distraction from everything else. I don't get how if you get pissed off, you would still want to even play.
Well, it was supposed to be a stress reliever.
Right, and I'm a take my ball and go home kind of guy. If I get pissed off, I'm like, all right, I'm out. I'm not gonna play this anymore. But like, hear your stories, you're like, God damn it! All right, now let me go get a new controller so I can play this thing again. Like,
you're emotionally invested at that part. You know, it's kind of like being with the girl that's bad for you, but the sex is good.
See, that I know.
So you have a reason to stay, but you don't really, you know, it's not good for you.
Of course, the man whore would.
I know. And see, I guess putting it in that terms, I could say I've been in those where you're just like, God, this is horrible. All right, so we're gonna go get some food, or what do you want to do?
Right.
So I guess it's the same kind
And
of
we
thing.
still got to get to Matt's most epic.
Right. So let's go. Let's just dive into that. With the most epic rage out, what would you classify that as?
What were me and Brandon playing?
We were playing Call of Duty,
Which one?
Modern Warfare 2, I believe.
Brazil?
Me and Rob were attempting to make money delivering pizzas.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. So me and Brandon were online. It was during the day, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, it must have been a Wednesday or something. I recall. And me and Brandon were playing. Of course, I kept getting killed.
By
And-
Brandon?
No, yeah, Brandon's
Okay.
on my team. And in Call of Duty, I have this thing where I don't know if anybody else experienced it, but you know you shot somebody, but then when you look at the kill cam, it doesn't even show you shooting them, but it shows them shooting you, and you're like, but they shot me one time.
What
Does anybody
if-
else have that problem with
What
Call
if
of
you
Duty?
were looking 5 seconds into the future?
No, so I've heard about that a lot. I do know that I hated the way you feel like you shot the same time as them, but for some reason you die and they don't.
Oh no, it's not. I thought I knew I shot them before they shot
He
me.
comes around the corner already shooting.
I'm already
whether he knows
pre-firing.
somebody's
Okay,
there or not.
yeah.
And the kill cam shows me not even shooting. I'm like, how is that even possible?
Because you died. So
Yeah.
you figured it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm getting pissed after about 5 times of it. Brandon hears me saying, fuck! Pull off my headset, throw it across the room. You hear the headset hit the wall. And then you hear, fuck! No! Offline. It had pulled my PS3 off the shelf and onto the floor.
At which point, Brandon texted me while I was sitting out back at pizza, and probably was like, dude, you just missed the most epic rage quit ever. And I heard every bit of it. And he's like, he didn't even really get the rage quit. It cut him off because the shit got pulled off the TV stand.
Which erupted into a whole new rage.
I'm sure, yeah.
Like, what have I done?
My headset break. But now my PlayStation's on the floor, and now I just want to pick it up and throw it.
So was it broken though?
No,
Did you
no.
break
So I
it?
plugged it back in. I could find one of them cheap ass headsets that I had.
You're a little bit like an abusive spouse. Like, you break the thing and you're like, oh baby, I'm sorry. Please don't be broken.
Yeah, a little duct tape on it.
This is why he went out and paid like $300 for a headset that has no cord.
Yep. That way it doesn't.
If you throw it, it doesn't break.
So I get back along like, hey guys, you wanna play again?
I can't. I don't understand. Like, man, I mean, I used to have the big rage, big anger problems, but I would have just been like, "Fuck this," and like stormed out.
No.
But you just like
It was
you
just.
want the abuse. Now, is it like you regret it as soon as it leaves your hand? You're
Oh
like,
yeah, I
shit."
regret it as soon as it left my hand. And you see it smacking the wall.
I feel like it goes into bullet time and he just watches the whole thing in slow motion.
Yeah, reaching out trying to grab it, but it's just moving too fast.
Devastating.
Horrible.
So we talked a little bit about console games. Anybody ever played computer, like PC-based games?
Oh yeah.
Which one?
Well, other than Oregon Trail.
Roller Coaster Tycoon, The Sims.
World of Warcraft.
Now that's where I was going for. Let's hold off on World of Warcraft though. But
SimCity.
as I said, some of the
SimCity.
older games I played, Roller Coaster Tycoon, I was the worst roller coaster owner ever because
I used to kill the people.
I would kill them on purpose.
What about Sim Tower? Can I remember that game?
Okay, first of all, that's a crazy reference. Most people have no idea what that is. Have you ever heard of Sim Tower?
No.
Okay, so you start with a blank slate, and you start putting in shops and apartments and hotel rooms, and you have to build up, and you just keep going up and up and
Or
up.
down. You can go down like so many
You
levels.
can go down, yeah. And I remember sitting there and having one of my friends come over and be like, "The fuck is this? What are you playing?" And because it looks like a shopping center, and it kind of is like a shopping center, but it was more addictive than people thought.
I played it in school.
Oh, see, now I played it at home.
In computer class.
Okay.
Minesweeper.
I'd hurry up and get my work done and then start playing.
Did anybody else play that 3D space pinball game?
Yeah, okay, for the thing that, the pre-internet age when you had nothing
I
else
used to
to do.
get so pissed off at that game.
How do you get mad at the pinball machine?
Because you missed the ball.
You miss the ball, or it does that little tilt thing where it locks the little flippers, and you're sitting there trying to push the buttons, and it just goes down anyway.
That's why you have to chill.
Like I barely touched it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I feel your
My
frustration.
flippers
man.
aren't working.
So, again, for those younger people listening, there were 2 games that came on Windows that, before the internet was a thing, really, if you were bored, you could play Minesweeper, which people didn't realize isn't a guessing game. You don't just press and
That shit
guess.
pisses me off, too.
There was a point to it. The number meant something, and that's how you found out
I
where the
didn't give a
mines
fuck.
were.
I was just pressing buttons
Yeah,
and I
see?
hit the fucking bomb.
And how do you get pissed when you're not playing by the rules and you lose? Like, I don't
never
understand
read the
that.
rules.
Does
I
anybody remember
still, to
Tristan?
this day, I do not know the rules of Minesweeper.
Where you had to have a book and it would tell you what page to flip through and the clue, and you had to put in in order to play the.
No, what? What is that?
It was on MS-DOS.
Okay, well, God. All right, so that's taking it back even further, I guess.
Uh-huh.
But no, so
Page book.
we had Oregon Trail. There was Frogger. Anybody play Frogger?
Mhm.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. Frogger was the way that they
Dig
taught.
Dug.
It was like the book thing. They taught you shit, and you didn't realize they were teaching it. Like, okay, only grab the ones that are divisible by 3. I just learned how to divide by 3. Isn't that nice? But then so shit kind of took off, and gaming went to the console. The first game I ever played was not Call of Duty, but the other one, Medal of Honor. On
That was
PC.
my
Oh,
first
yeah.
online game.
Yeah, and that was the first thing I ever played online. And it sucked because we live in the boonies, and people who had faster internet they weren't better at it. They just didn't lag as bad.
Right.
And I remember that was my first frustration with the lag kill, where it's like, okay, I'm not moving, and then, and you go around the corner and somebody just hits you as soon as you come out of the lag, you're dead. So.
Remember those days where you'd be watching somebody just sitting there and you'd be shooting the hell out of them?
And
And then
please
it's gone, you're like,
fire.
where'd they go?
Yeah, it was horrible back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My first online game was Call of Duty with Kenny.
You played it with him?
Mhm.
When was that?
Right
Last
after I
year.
moved in.
Oh. I thought you meant like years and years ago.
Mm-mm.
You never played online?
Mm-mm. I was always like the Super Mario and all that stuff, and like my cousins were into the online consoles, but I never played them. If I did play a game, I wasn't online. Like I played Grand Theft Auto
Right.
or Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, stuff
is
like
also
that.
online.
We would be playing the gauntlet thing. I can't remember what it's called. The Survivor shit on Call of Duty.
Nazis versus zombies?
No, it's not the zombie
Oh,
one.
my-
It's
The co-op.
The co-op survival
Survival.
mode, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
just like wave after wave.
Mhm.
of
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, one day we played with a couple friends of mine, and they're sitting there, and he's like, "Why is she not moving and just standing there?" It's like, "Cause she can't hit nothing if she moves."
So we just stand and wait
It
for it to
was
run in
Matt
front of you?
and, Matt
Oh
and
yeah,
Cody.
Matt and Cody.
Oh my
Like,
god.
why ain't she moving?
And I told
If she
Kenny, I
moves,
told
she can't
Kenny,
hit nothing.
I said, Kenny, you tell Matt to shut the fuck up or I'll come shoot him.
Well, you wouldn't have to worry because you'd have to move to shoot him, so it's not like you would hit him. Alright, so I wanted to get to the console games. Is the big one, World of Warcraft. And I guess there are other MMORPGs.
Final Fantasy 11.
Never got into Final Fantasy, so I never played that.
Long
Kenny's
hours of
Dungeon
searching for a
Defenders.
party.
For
That's not
World of
MMO.
Warcraft?
No, Final Fantasy 11.
That's a tower defense RPG.
5 hours to wait for a party to only play 30 minutes. Remember that?
That's because you didn't play at 2 o'clock in the morning like I did when the Japanese.
Like
players
everyone
were.
else in the world was playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when all the good players were on. If you weren't playing with Japanese players, you had a shitty day.
But I played League of Legends. No, City of Heroes.
Oh yeah.
City of Heroes.
Mhm.
Clash of Kings.
Actually, I feel like that would be a game that you would like.
Yeah, yeah. Then it came out with City of Villains.
Right, yeah.
You didn't download DC Online on your PS4?
Oh, you know I'm playing that too. You know, I stay. That's the only online game I really play.
Yeah, so City of Heroes, to get back to that, was the first, what was it, like mid-2000s probably?
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I picked a video game over a girl. My parents were out of town, and girl came over, and then got a call from one of my friends who was like, yes, I'm getting online. You want to get online? I'm like, yeah, no. I'm like, so you just hang out here and wait, and I'm just going to play for a little bit, just a little bit. And then like 6 hours later, I realized she left, and I'd been alone, yelling at the computer screen, playing in a party with my friends. And then I realized maybe I had a problem, and I should maybe focus on girls instead of video games. So.
And now he's a man.
Oh God. Anyway, so World of Warcraft is the big one, right?
Yeah.
I guess it's not new because it's been around for a while. Did you ever play World of Warcraft?
I have not played that.
Thank God you don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. It's,
Either. I've watched
you get
people
depressed.
play. Yeah.
Very depressed.
Matt wanted somebody to play with so badly he was going to pay for my subscription to play with him at one point.
So, what is World of Warcraft? Well, actually, what is an MMORPG?
Basically, a massive multiplayer online.
Role-playing game.
Yeah, role-playing game. So basically, you pick a job as a character, or a what is it, wizard or
A class?
class
Yeah.
basically. And that's basically what you do the entire time.
Motherfucker, kill me.
And then you level and level and grind and grind and level and level and grind.
Like this one over here on Clash of Kings.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Tony in real life. I mean, that's basically what he does.
Oh, yeah, he grinds all the time.
He's leveling up in real life, though. So.
I know it.
But no. So, you said it was depressing. Why depressing?
Yeah, because you don't play it for, well, you play it for like 3 years straight. As soon as you get off work, 6 o'clock at night, and don't get off until 4 o'clock in the morning. Or the time you sit and want to fish for 6 months straight on the game, looking for the special mount that you had to have.
Or when you buy collector's editions just because you need that item.
And then you need that item or that mount, and then you get on, 2 years later, and you're like, I really wasted this much time of my life on this damn game.
Something that is inconsequential.
Yes.
Yeah, the thing that saved my life was when they started putting hour counters on, and you could look at how much time had passed in game and how much time you'd been playing,
Right.
and just look at it and be like, does that say 300 hours?
Right.
What the hell am I doing? 300 hours on this thing. So
My favorite was when Final Fantasy 11, it had like that Dropbox that came up. This is not a real life game. Do not remember the Dropbox that came up?
well, like that's the Nintendo thing, right? Why don't you go outside for a while?
Yeah.
Hey, don't tell me how to live my life. I know what I'm doing.
When they did the new Final Fantasy Online, they made sure that there was always a clock in the screen.
Mhm.
Right.
I guess to remind you how long you've actually
You've
been
been
sitting
on
there.
the actual real clock, yeah.
Well, I'm glad they're doing that because that was half of my problem was not knowing what was going on. But so you don't play World of Warcraft anymore?
No, I don't play that anymore.
Any MMORPGs?
No, not really. We tried playing Final Fantasy 14, but
Yeah, he keeps talking to me about getting back into it because now they got the ninja class.
yeah, but
I know Colin Graves from Uncommon Gaming Systems. He plays Diablo all of the time.
well, Diablo's no fun for me anymore because I got hacked weapons and stuff. I literally do 3 million damage per hit. I can do a level 100
Anyway, so
thing
you
and,
say
like, by myself.
hack weapons. That's like you paid actual
No,
money
no.
off or something?
Didn't pay for it. What happened was somebody did on the computer and transferred to the console
Yeah.
and just start passing them out there.
Hmm.
So I got into a room with somebody like, hey, you want something? I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, there was a guy I knew in college who actually made really good money leveling up characters and selling them, or forging items and selling
You
them.
could do that with World of Warcraft
And selling, like, I'm like,
and Final Fantasy.
he's talking about how much money he's making, and I'm assuming it's like game money. Like, I sold
Right.
this axe for $100, and I'm like, okay, so what does $100 buy you? And he's like, gas for a week and food, and I'm like, what are you talking about? No,
Yeah, and he's
it's
like,
real money.
Right.
Oh, and I was like, and he's like, yeah, and I get paid in Bitcoin, so if I wait, I just wait until it flexes as high as possible before I cash out the Bitcoin, and then that $100 might be $130, and I don't know, understand people who are in that world. I played Second Life for about 15 minutes. I don't know if anybody ever played Second Life. It wasn't really a game. It was it was a Second Life.
I seen it in Hot Time Machine.
It did do that. But now it was the cross between, I guess, an MMORPG and like chatting from back in the early internet days, where you had a character and you built up the character, but you could eventually when I found that people could fly and stuff, I was like, all right, I'm done with this. It's not. But people were making real money doing that kind of stuff. So do you ever make anything, sell any characters or anything?
I have about a shit ton of in-game gold.
I could have sold my Final Fantasy 11 character for like $8,000
Why didn't you?
because I wanted to have the option to be able to go back and play it if I wanted to.
Except for me, I'm just like, what?
I'd have been like, I'm going to restart a character.
I'd have got rid of that bitch with the quickness.
I put like
Faster
1,000
than the
hours
horse,
into
you ought to
that
cut 'em out
character.
here.
I put over 1,000 hours into that character.
Yeah. Now, what would your wife say if you told that story?
I
Like, I
wouldn't-
could have had $8,000.
I
but...
wouldn't tell that story. That story would end up like, yo, I just got this damn
Oh,
character.
that's like,
$7,000. Let's party.
Back when PS3 first came out, Resistance was big. Me and Matt talked our friend Mike into getting the PS3 so we could do the Resistance tournament.
Yeah, that was a load of
Held by
crap.
MLG, which we were telling you this story too.
Yeah.
I regional that
We
one too,
got
didn't
we got screwed in the very first round.
Okay.
Bullets were following us through walls and killing us that should not have been following us in the first place. Coming from a standard assault rifle.
Yeah, I hear Get Screwed, and I hear they were better than us. But go ahead. Just go ahead and keep
No,
your story.
Somebody got into the game on their side to help them.
Okay.
No, what happens, I got kicked, remember?
Yeah, he got kicked and then somebody
And then
else
on
came
their
in.
side came in, it was just standing there.
To keep you out.
Yeah, I'm like, how is that possible? I just go out. I'm like, what happened?
So then we got in contact with the ref and we had to redo the match like 2 days later.
Mm-hmm.
Still had the same issues. The ref was like, I didn't see nothing wrong.
Yeah, see, that's why when you tell the story, I hear they were better than us, and that because here's the thing: in college, when I had 4 guys in a dorm were all playing Call of Duty, and I hear like, "Stop cheating," and I know I'm not cheating.
Mm-hmm.
What I hear is just, "I'm not as good as you."
So I get
and
that. There's been many times I was told I was I had a lag switch
okay.
for Call of Duty, but legit it was an M1 carbine. Bullets would come. We would watch them come through the wall and curve right into us and kill us.
Well, here's the thing, guys.
Wanted.
It's not real life. It's just a video game.
Yeah, but we were trying to make money. The finals were going to be
Oh,
played
okay.
in New York. Yeah, that's what kind of tournament it was.
Gotcha,
It wasn't
alright.
a bullshit tournament. It was get through the bracket finals, get sent up, get all expenses paid trips to New York for the finals, and I think it was like a $10,000 prize or some shit like that.
Yeah, see now, and that I had a guy I went to school with who was actually on my floor. Went and played Madden in Vegas. He got a all expenses paid trip to the top 50 or something in Vegas for Madden. It was crazy, but I never took it that seriously. So, but on the plus side, at least I'm not making fun of it like I was with Dragon Ball Z. So,
Oh my god.
I can understand. I can understand how people get into it. So, any parting thoughts, Matt, on gaming?
Okay.
Don't game.
Don't
play Call of Duty.
Your parting thought should be don't break your shit because not everybody's got money to replace it.
Well, and what I hear from that is it's like the old grizzled guy who's like, he just all beat up and drunk all the time, and he's looking at the young kid like, be careful, this thing will get you. Is that basically what it is? And he's gonna leave here and go play games for another 4 hours, and now, oh, that's right, because you don't play any of the stuff anymore.
No, the only thing I play on PS4 now is either Destiny or Dungeon Defenders, depending.
I've heard good things about Destiny. I've watched Destiny get played.
or I'll play ESO on Xbox One.
I got bored with Dungeon
That's about it.
Defenders.
I do not.
Dungeon Defenders, Destiny.
I do not and
Penny
will not play
played
Destiny.
for like 10
Because I can
minutes.
see the
and didn't
addiction
wanna play no
potential.
more.
I played Destiny.
See,
Have
my,
you seen anything about it?
It's getting better.
is-
It's getting a lot better than what it was.
Yeah,
That's
the
first
new update,
person
they
though,
said
right?
fixed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First person.
see, this is my thing.
But it's more like it's kind of like an MMO almost.
Yeah, and I like the MMO concept of it, but my thing is, man, if I'm putting a kick-ass outfit on my character, I want to see that shit all the time. I don't want to have to push the button and be like, yeah, I look fly. I want to see that shit as I'm moving.
Oh, so wait, so is that like more like the
That's more the third person.
the RPG or the over the shoulder where you can at least see the back of your guy?
Right, at least so you know you can see something that's kind of like to me. That's kind of like playing like Arkham Knight from first person vantage point. You know what I mean?
See now, Arkham Knight that's the Hitman style over the shoulder?
No, it's
right?
full third person.
Full third person.
Full
Okay.
third person. Yeah, the new Batman game. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
I
have
would
a
say-
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do y'all know anybody else is like me and gets motion sickness from playing 3D games?
3D like
Epileptics. I'm sorry, I didn't really.
I'm not
I really love it.
epileptic.
I didn't say you
No,
were.
I have to go buy her motion sickness.
Yeah, I can be
Like
sitting
all
here and
day.
playing a game with him,
Oh wow.
and out of nowhere I'll start feeling nauseous and dizzy, and I can't.
Chris's wife
That could be your mind from.
is epileptic from blue light, so she can't watch and play video games.
because of the flash.
I'm not epileptic.
So I would get her with turning sirens on GTA. And she'd be like, turn that shit off!
No, so, I mean, do you get car sick?
It's kind of like that.
I mean,
Kinda
but
like
do you
that
get
nu-
car sick?
I don't no.
Do you get like sick on boats,
Mm-mm.
planes?
Mm-mm.
That's super weird.
You are more.
And it's only the 3D games. That first started when I played Spyro.
Yeah.
I guess because of the spinning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like if you're sitting on a merry-go-round like that they have at the parks, I get sick on those.
Okay, so you just have motion sickness, and that's all it.
Probably.
Because it's the same thing. It's
So
about.
wait till we have VR headsets to go with the video.
That costs as much as the console. And I am not buying one because I can see that thing going, wah!
No!
Usually the first person saying they're not going to buy one is usually the first person to get it.
Yo, I'm not going to do that in no kind of form or fashion. If they can project images into your brain, they can also project
Your brain image is out.
out.
Damn
And perhaps suggestively sell anything to you, like go rob that bank, just to see if they can make you do it.
And what I'll say is that one of the VR things is the images are repeating at like 1,000 frames per second.
Mm-hmm.
A single frame you will not see, but if they repeat it every 10,000 frames, it will implant an idea, Inception style, in your brain.
Into your brain.
And next thing you know, you're like, I really go for pizza. Somebody would call Domino's? Like, well, we got Pizza Hut. No. Gotta be Domino's. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, Domino's,
That's
you
'cause-
use the app.
Well, yeah, I'm using
Right.
the Pizza Hut or something.
That's also why I won't have an Apple Watch.
Oh, they're in his brain.
I mean, look. I mean, I'm just think about it. You have a cell phone. Have you ever not had your phone on you, but your leg vibrates like it's there?
Phantom vibration,
The
yeah.
phantom vibration.
Yeah.
I'm not putting that over top of my pulse. I'm not doing it.
I haven't had no troubles.
Yet.
I was gonna say, that's a collapse. They're on to us. Kill them all.
No, I mean, I'm just, there's just certain levels of technology and medicines that have to be out 10 years, and if, before I'll even fuck with it.
Yeah, I'll wait and see.
I gotta know what it's doing first, you know what I mean? I gotta know what it's doing.
Alright, so what are you playing right now?
Dragon Ball.
Okay, oh god.
That's the most awesome game from the most awesome cartoon ever made.
And just so, if people are listening, the voice is of that of a grown man. He is not a child. He is a grown man who plays Dragon Ball.
And watches.
and watches Dragon Ball.
religiously.
I'm still waiting on watching the movie.
Yeah,
Colin wants me to watch the
You
movie.
have to see it. See, people don't understand the true nature of Dragon Ball.
Me and
Z.
Tony were texting the whole time I was watching the new movie. I'm like, dude, I'm just fucking cracking
So
up.
you love
right
I only
now.
And you
found
know
only.
what I was doing the whole time he was watching Dragon Ball? Sitting over here watching videos on YouTube of kids singing. That's how bored I was.
Yes, well, flat scan flat. So what we do is, see, this is the whole thing about Dragon Ball, man. It is the most awesome thing in the entire world. It's relative to real life. I know.
Well, he wants to ask why.
I know
No.
you do. I know
No,
you
no.
do. I know you do. So I'm just going to.
So
Wait a
making the ball is relative to...
No. But this is what it's relative to. The whole series is basically around a character called Goku. But more important than what his name is and what he does is what he is. He's
It's not
a
a
Saiyan.
cat, right? It's a person, right?
Yes, he's a person.
Okay.
And right now, well, I mean, you have people that are really snakes.
Right.
You call men dog, women bitches. You know what I mean? There's an animal side to every one of us.
You have a woman sitting right behind you.
Absolutely, but I didn't call you a bitch.
I mean, he could.
Never would I. You know. But
I'll smack you, Rob. I ain't scared.
But in all honesty, what I love the best about it is no matter how a character or a person that's fighting something just larger than them, and how many times in your life have you been faced with challenges and obstacles that are larger than you? When do you do your gut check? When do you give it everything that you have, even if you know that you might not be able to win? Mm-hmm. And this is what this cartoon, it's what it radiates. Right. And if you survive what you're going through, it makes you stronger. Okay. It makes them stronger physically. But from a mental aspect, in our world, the more experience that you have in a certain thing and you've learned ins and outs, you become stronger, you become wiser, and you become harder to break if you learn these lessons. So in that aspect, I relate to Dragon Ball Z. Even though you may have people that are both Saiyans, but they look at things so differently. Vegeta's more of a tactician. He doesn't necessarily get as strong as one that's superiorly naive, and he just doesn't know what's dangerous, so he does dangerous shit. You know, but the one that knows better is like, I'm gonna see how this plays out before I go out there, because I think you're getting ready to fuck yourself up. So you have these different attitudes within a race, and the race you could call humanity is built the same way. Our bodies adapt. If you do certain work long enough, it becomes easier to do that work because your body's adapted to it. We have to always challenge ourselves and rise to challenges, or we become obsolete. And then if you become obsolete, you become extinct. So when I watch Dragon Ball, it stirs my spirit. Okay. It makes me, whether it's working 95 hours of overtime in a 2-week period, whether it's, taking care of my mom when I just want to break down and I just don't want to do it anymore. Those characters and those references, it helps push me through. And it has to come from a fantasy aspect, because in reality, you'd never be able to imagine yourself doing anything. So I always like, if you shoot for the moon and you miss, you still land among the stars, man.
Well, that is a good preview. We'll have an upcoming episode where I guess we will dive into Dragon Ball a little bit more.
Dragon's awesome.
I'm going to want to kill myself, but that's okay.
Me too.
What are you playing online?
Dungeon Defenders.
Yeah, what is that? I haven't even heard of it.
It's a tower defense RPG.
Okay.
For my final thoughts, what I'm looking forward to, the other game I'm looking forward to, there's a Friday 13th game coming out next year.
Oh,
yes, there is. Jesse told me about it.
Yes.
First of all, it's not the first Friday the 13th game. They had one on the
But
original Nintendo console.
This one you play as Jason.
Or you can play as a camp counselor.
Yeah, if you're playing online. It's online, Jason versus 7 people, and you gotta try to kill those 7 people.
Or they have to try to kill Jason.
Yeah, we really should do it now.
I thought Jason doesn't die.
He doesn't.
Yeah. That's that. So what kind of game?
But they give you.
It just lasts forever.
But they give you obstacles that you can use to your advantage to try and bring him
You just
down.
gotta stop him long enough to get away to a
Okay.
checkpoint or
All right.
If you
I
want
was
to check
about
it
to
out, check
say,
it
if you're trying to kill
Kickstarter.
Jason, you're pretty much screwed.
Right.
Well, so we should think about doing a scary movie episode for October.
Yeah.
We should do it in that future. And we got a Dragon Ball Z episode coming up. There's a lot of good stuff coming up.
And later tonight we return
for the Walking
for the
Dead.
podcasters.
So if you're watching the live stream, we will be back with a review of the newest Walking Dead episode tonight.
Also starring Tony.
I have never seen The Walking Dead
Y'all are
before.
gonna mess up this.
So this is a nice virgin opinion and perspective on The Walking Dead.
And if you're listening to the podcast, make sure you go back to listen to that episode. It would be the October 18th episode, or October 19th episode on DirtyShoreUnderground.com. So while we're talking about that, make sure you check out new episodes every Thursday of this podcast at DirtyShoreUnderground.com. and look for bonus episodes popping up basically whenever they want to pop up. Where can people find you online? Do you want them to find you?
He hasn't made one
Yeah,
yet.
man. Just Matthew Mayday on Facebook. MADEJ.
And what's your gamer tag on PS4?
Equitas 1986.
Equitas, as in from
Boondock Saints.
Boondock
I
Saints.
quit us a lot.
Right.
And coincidentally has quit.
Which you do a lot.
And
And where can people find you online, Tony?
Online, you can find me at www.weareironarmy.com. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and my gamer tag on the PS4 platform is DA_5IVE. The 5.
Hey, all right.
Yeah,
So that's who that is that added me.
Yes, it was me. It was me. I saw you and I said, oh, I had.
And you can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com where you can find my news website, the aggregator, political blog, all the stuff there, including my books. Links there on Amazon. Make sure you also follow me at otheanthem.com. New episodes of that podcast every Tuesday. And you can get more information at otheanthem.com or check out O The Anthem on all your social networks.
See you guys later, man.
What's yours?
Wait,
Where
damn
can
it,
they
man,
find
yeah,
you?
man.
Damn it!
Oh,
Look,
man.
screwing me up.
He was like the FBI.
No,
I got warrants.
I gotta go.
I get used to him doing it for me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Dirty Shore UG on Twitter and Facebook. YouTube.com/C/Dirty Shore UG-OTA.
You forgot user.
No, it's
No, not
just C.
anymore. Okay.
Yeah, because I did the custom link.
All right, and so make sure you check out on YouTube. You can get all the videos of the live stream there. Follow Dirty Shore UG on all your social networks so that you can get links to the shows and watch them live and participate live. We love having the feedback. So other than that, you've been listening to Dirty Shore Underground, part of the O The Anthem Digital Network. Have a
The
great
best
week,
network.
everybody. Woo!
Yeah, I was sitting on there. I was like, who is this? Kenny told Matt to add me, so I knew who he was.
I'm like, oh, look, Ed.
Huh?
I didn't delete you. I don't know. You're
Uh,
probably never online enough for me to even realize it.
God, feels
The only time I'm ever really online is when I'm